So as I said at the end of the last video, for me this has just been a second, for you it's been a couple of days. I wanted to break up the videos into smaller pieces, so this video picks up right when we started disassembling the old 48 volt. Alright, man, this was a nice box. Oh, I have to keep cell 1 no matter what. It's the one with the copper vapor deposition. That's just a good reminder to be careful. Part of me is sad to be tearing this apart because I put so much work into building it. Part of me is really happy to be pulling this apart because it means I'm hitting a new stage of the build. I have to decide first how I want to set them up. I think if I just do the standard, oh, the foam is set up for the other one. How am I going to do this? This is from the first row, this is from the second row. If I do that, okay, if I do 1, 8 and jump them like that, that'll let the foams line up properly. This isn't going to be perfect and I don't care. Yeah, okay, that's good enough. So main pack positive, main pack negative, and then I can put the BMS on the front here and just tape it all together. It'll be ugly, but it'll do the job. Now, I've got screens for them that I want to be able to use as well. No, that's not going to work. We're just going to pretend that that's not tipping over like that. Positive to negative, positive to negative, to negative, positive to negative. All right. Main pack positive is on the right, main pack negative is on the left. Do I have enough ring terminals for that? There, don't scratch my desk, or won't scratch my desk. English is hard, but I've spoken it my entire life, so really I have no excuse for saying things that grammatically poor. Wow, there's a lot of key. Oh, I think this is because this is for the 4S and 8S configuration, so I'm gonna have to pop some pins out like I did last time. Which means I'm gonna have to download the manual because this is the first time I've used the 4S. Actually, these are probably too short. I'm gonna have to get T-class fuses for these as well. I've got one spare currently. They are very constrained on the market right now. So if I do that, battery negative like that, and then just tape this all together, well, I'll have to see because the connectors are here and I don't want to block them. Now the other option is there's little screw holes. I could maybe make a wooden housing for it, screw the wooden housing in, and then that would hold everything in place. In fact, I think that might be what I do. Oh, except then, right now this is long enough that, can I mount it on the back? Not really. I have to think about this. Or maybe just make a couple more of these that are longer. I will see. I'm even making cables. I thought I'd be putting away my hydraulic crimper for a long time, and clearly I was wrong. Oh yeah, I pulled this out because I wanted to take a picture of the QR code so I could get the manual. Oh, I'm gonna need to crimp these as well. Do I have any ring terminals left? Oh, shillings. Oh. Ah, okay, yeah, I got plenty of ring terminals. Purple and red. Which color do I want to use? I'll use red. I have exactly 3 left over. Not a lot of oops room, but that's fine. Okay, all of the PDFs are in Chinese. Of course they are. Ah, here we go. B1A8S20P. I think this is the manual. Not that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. So it goes black to main pack negative, 1 positive, 2 positive, 3 positive, 4 positive, and then the last one is main pack positive. So the 4 towards the end, I'll show you when I'm done popping it out. Words are failing me today. I mentioned earlier that because I have the lighting's a bit off. Because all of the 48 volts are named A, B, C, D, E, and F, these are going to be 1 and 2. Meaning the cells are going to be A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. I was not going to turn the camera on until I finished labeling, but it's rare that I pull a label off. And I wanted to show you, these have been on for about a year now. I want to show you how well they're stuck. I hope this comes through on camera. That's putting all of the force of my fingernail into it. They are very well stuck still. That extra adhesive tape is absolutely the way to go. Anyway, I'm not going to make you watch me label them. There's past videos where I do that if you care how I've done this, but I will do a summary after it's done. So I've got the batteries now labeled as 1A, 1B, 1C, and, oh, it doesn't want to focus, 1D. And then 2A, 2B, C, and D. This is going to be marked as 12 volt BMS 1, 12 volt BMS 2, and the balance cables are following the same format that we used for the 48 volt battery. So you see the BMS number, the balance cable purpose, so BMS negative for the negative for powering the BMS itself, BMS positive for powering the BMS, and then the 4 balance leads going to cell 1A negative, 1A positive, 1B positive, 1C, 1D, and 1D positive. Over here it's the same thing, but everything's for BMS 2. So I've got the balance cables made, same as I did before, just fewer wires, of course. I thought I had 3 ring terminals left, but that's because I was counting 5 wires, and there's 6. Now I've got 1 spare, but that's fine. What do I need to do next? I need to decide how I'm going to mount these. If for the trip home, I shouldn't just mount it like this. This is where it makes the most sense to mount it, because then it's just a short drop to here. I really would like to save some of my ring terminals by reusing my flexible bus bar. Oh, you can't see anything I'm doing. I could try using the door skin, which is really thin, but I really want to be able to put a screw through this to lock it in properly on all 4 tabs. And if I'm going to do that, I need to really make sure it's thick wood. I think I have to accept the fact that I don't have enough of these. I think the camera was slowly tilting back during that shot. Oh yeah, I still have plenty of these. So that's what I'll do. I'm going to make a couple longer flexible bus bars that will drop down into here with enough length that I can put like a 1/2 inch piece of plywood back here. And then I'll make a plywood box that I'll probably just strap to make it strong, screw this in. I might have these ends come out with a cross piece that comes across here, so I can put this in and then screw a cover on to hide this. I have the main pack negative coming out of here and coming out, but if I put this here, what I can do is run the negative along, up and out, and have the positive come down and out. But then I gotta figure out the T-class fuse. Anyways, that's later problem. For now, the key thing is I need a flexible cable that will do this drop. And ironically, all of the ones that I've got currently are the 4 gauge ones. If I drop it down here, will any of these work? You know, maybe that'll work. And just do that. Now, for the sake of $10 worth of ends, I'll make some new wires. Okay, Maddie, stop it. Just make new cables. All right. So I want to come from here. Yeah, that should be a good length right about there. Oh, do I not have any cutters? I gotta go get my cutters. Let's try this again. Yeah, I think that's going to be long enough. It's absolutely shocking to me how much of this 10 gauge wire I've gone through. There's a very good chance I'm going to need to buy another spool. All right, so now I've got these. I'm not testing these for their internal resistance. I may not even put shrink tubing on. I mean, I probably will at some point, but really my concern is just to get this up and running. Should I use a spring washer? I'm not going to use the spring washer. Okay, that's that one. I'm trying to debate. I have to decide this over the holidays, but do I want to have Anderson connectors coming out and do the fused positive link like I did before? Unlike the propulsion batteries / house batteries, which are going to be in the engine bay and much more subject to potential water splashing on them coming through the lazarette, these are going to be, at least for the foreseeable future, where the black water tank was, as I mentioned earlier. The chances of them getting hit with water is dramatically lower. Basically, if they get wet, the ship is sinking and it doesn't really matter anymore. So I think for sure I'm not going to bother with the environmental boots. These are 200 amp BMSs, so if I do go with Anderson connectors, I should go with, I think they go like 175 and then 350. I don't think I need to do that though, because This will draw 220-ish amps for a fraction of a second during the startup. So you probably saw in the video, even though it was cranking over, the amperage dropped quite dramatically, and then that load is going to be divided by 2 by the two of these. So the amount of time where I'm going to be drawing more than 175 amp is actually effectively impossible. I'd have to have one of the banks offline and then try to start the engine. The principal role of these batteries in the boat are going to be for running nav lights, radio, the transducers, all of the safety critical stuff on the boat. The only time these will have any kind of real draw on them is if I have to use the 12-volt bilge. And even then, I believe I looked at the Rule 200 gallons per hour model, or 2000, sorry, the Rule 2000 gallon per hour model was like 100 watts, which 10 amp, again, divided by 2. I think the 175 is fine. It's never going to even come close to that, with the exception of the starting current. And again, that's going to be so short-lived. So I think I just decided I am going to go with the Anderson connectors. I will not have main battery disconnects because, well, will I? I am getting really tired. I am going to finish wiring this up. You know what? I think I just hit the wall. I think I'm done for the night. See you tomorrow, probably. So I know it was just like a quick cut for you, but for me, it's about 4 weeks after the last section. In fact, as I record this, I don't remember how I ended the last section. So if this seems a little bit herky-jerky from whatever I was just talking about, I apologize. As you saw at the intro, I had pulled the switches and fuses to use on the 12-volt batteries that I'm going to take onto the boat. This is not elegant. I'm not going to pretend it is. And frankly, I don't particularly care either. Most of the things, will you come off, please? Most of the things that I've set up, I tried to set them up at least semi-properly, knowing that they were going to be that way for a while. Come on. That's not going to be the case here. This is going to be extremely temporary to prove that the batteries work, get them charging off of here. I don't even know how I'm going to discharge them. I don't have any 12-volt loads. I'm going to have to figure something out. For now, I want to get the system up and running so that I can verify that the batteries are working. Once that's done, I'm going to have to sit down and figure out what kind of a box I want to create. I'm probably going to do 2 separate boxes so that I can physically lift them in and out of the boat relatively easily. But for now, let's just do something really dirty. This is so janky. Ah. Again, with negative and negative and positive down the center, this is horribly ill-advised. Please don't copy this design. It's not a design. This is hackery and the most tomfoolery of hackery. Ça c'est ça. So you can see I've got the screen here. I've got the servo here. I've got the new charger, which I bought like how long ago and still haven't turned on. And I've got the smart shunt, and I got my batteries. These comically large ring terminals. You know what? I'm going to redo this. This is just silly. I had one red one still in there. Run that up there. Putting them on the top one because that's the closest here, and those should never be a problem. Oh, this black one's also kind of silly. Fuses. I think what I need to do is test these voltages and boot these BMSs. How about we do that? Hey, Picasso, you coming to say hi to everyone? Say hi, YouTube. No, 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 no. Come on, buddy. You're adorable, but you're not allowed up here. Back to our regularly scheduled chicanery. I just connected this to the back of the servo. Run this into the VE Direct. I might be able to get only 10 gauge out of here. Oh, it's only a 30 amp charger, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so 30 amps going to have to come to the bus bars. I'm really running short of parts and time. So that's going to be ground. Let's test the voltages. 10, 13, 13. Okay, so BMS2 is good. Plug it in. Ooh, plug it in the right way. Let's do the other one. 10, 13, 13. Okay, so that's good. Plug this in. Need to go onto there, which means I need some length of cable. Oh, I got that one already. Did Past Maddie actually prepare? Oh my God, Past Maddie prepared the cables. How lovely. Thank you, Past Maddie. Now, I'm going to learn from my mistake. The positive is going to be on the far side of the fuse this time. and the negative will be on the output side of the BMS. So the screens will be fully protected this time, and there's no buck converters to go crazy. Now, I would really like to put these on switches. I don't have switches yet. That's going to drain these batteries. I don't care on that in this case. If I leave the screens when I go to the boat, I'm going to put a proper switch on them. I just don't have any proper switches at the moment. But as you're noticing a theme, I'm going to be placing an order soon. I have to. A lot of people are feeling the stress these days. I do not want for a second to sound like I'm complaining, but like everyone else, I'm feeling the pinch these days. But hard times pass. Grab some favorites for when I do the 10 gauge to charger here. Red was positive, yellow was negative. Pretty sure. God, this is such fine gauge wire. So cut 4 pieces of shrink tubing, slide them over the wires. Do them all now because otherwise I will forget. Oh, my helping hands. Where are my helping hands? They would be very helpful right now. There they are. Anchor tinned copper to whatever the hell this cheap JKBMS screen is. Whatever. Okay, should you like to melt, please? Why are you not melting? Cut the tip off to expose some of the flux inside. I need to get some flux paste. I don't have any. I've had a few people say, it'd be so much easier if you just use flux paste. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, the difference in gauge between this wire is absolutely silly. Oh, and somebody said, stop wiping your tip so often. Thank you for that. It's very hard to get out of the habit of swiping it every time, but I trust that leaving some on makes it easier to flow. I suppose I should show you what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm taking the wires from the 2 bundles and fanning them, pressing them together so that they're like this, and then I twist them up so that they get all interleaved with each other before I hit it with solder. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but that's how I'm doing it. I don't know if it's coming through, but I've got the 2 fans, and I leave them side by side, and then I just twist them up to try to mechanically interlock them before I actually hit them with solder. Wardrobe change. The house is only set to 20, but it's really hot. Slightly less warm. Don't feel like breaking out my heat gun. All right, I have power cords. I guess what I can do is just unplug the back of the screens when I don't want it running. All right. I suppose if I hadn't opened these, I could have sold them as new, but I'm so deep in the hole at this point that it hardly matters. So this is going to plug into, yeah, yep, that looks right. It is now time to decide what I am going to do with this. I have to get them over to the bus bar. Problem is I need to have enough length in my negative wire to get from the negative bus bar to the BMS's. And I don't think any of the old wires I have kicking around are long enough to do that. I mean, I could get really kind of skizzy and just bolt some together and make a longer cable, which, you know, might not be the absolute worst thing I've ever done. Am I actually considering this? What do you think? How much would I hate myself for doing this? If I did that, like that. I mean, it'd be ugly as sin, but it would work. Let's see how many ring terminals I have left. I got 7 I need for this bus bar. I believe these are for this bus bar. Yeah, 7 for that bus bar. So I've got enough, if only just. All right, you're not gonna see this. I'm gonna go downstairs with these and make a decision on that loop of cable, the one that jumped in the last video. I was trying to save that because I thought I might need it somewhere else, and I didn't want to cut it because I thought I might need it somewhere else. This is somewhere else, so why don't I use it here? But I'm gonna go downstairs and look at those cables and make a decision. If I come up with a couple of coils, you'll know the decision I made. Be right back. Decisions were made. It already had the right size ring terminal for going to here. This goes to the battery, which now begs the question, I think I'm going to bring the two negatives. What I would like to do is bring the two negatives into a common bus bar, and then off the bus bar come out to here so that the shunt could read these two, but they were two independent. I can't do that. So, look what I got. This is why I save all my scraps. So what I can do is come from here, like this, to a single terminal and then bolt others onto it. Actually, do I have one that's already got the two sides on it? There you go. I'm looking for one that has these two sizes on it already. That'll save me crimping. Nope, no luck. I know it seems to be weird being a little careful about part use at this stage, but like I said, it is what it is these days. Yeah, that'll work. So basically I'd make a star pattern. So go to one BMS, the other BMS, down to the smart shunt. All right, so that's vaguely what I'm going to create, with this one going to the smart shunt and then splitting out to the two BMSs that will connect to the actual BMSs through these flexible lines. Am I proud of this? No, absolutely not, but it'll let me keep going. However, if there's one thing I've learned lately is stop when you're tired. I'll see you guys, well, for you, in the original full video. That snap and transition worked really well. I kind of feel bad breaking it there, but I'm going to break it there. As mentioned at the end of the last video, I'm going to break this up into pieces. So this is going to be the end of the second part, and I will see you very shortly for the beginning of the third part. I'm the Digital Mermaid. Let me know what you think of how I'm breaking this up into smaller videos. Do you like the longer format? Is the shorter format easier to watch? I'm learning. Help me learn. See you next time.